Hello, and I'm talking about arrays again, because why not? I have cleared out all the old code, but I've left the boilerplate, because I don't want to have to type that again. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. So first of all, let's create a new array. Let's make this one a bunch of floating point numbers, so a bunch of decimals. And let's get way too many of them, 500. Because why use numbers if you can't use big numbers? And then let's call these floats, because the creativity thing. Yeah, and we're not going to define this ourselves. We're going to fill it up using the help of for loops, but not just any for loops. There's actually a special kind of for loop you can use for arrays. And it's a little bit faster to write. And so I'm going to show you guys how to do that real quick. So let's create a for loop for assign values to array. That's not how English. That's probably English, but yeah. So that's not for loop either though. So let's set up the basic framework of a for loop, comment and for. Yeah, so the difference between this kind of for loop and the other kind of for loop is what you actually put inside of the inside of these parentheses here. What you're able to do is you're able to basically, instead of defining a variable I and then saying, I equals 0, cycle through I elements, and then selecting the element of the array, you can actually just flat out go integer, or rather this is a floating point number, float number, and then you put the name of the array, so floats. Or you could just do float in floats. Oh, that's not right. You don't put, you put colon instead of semicolon there. Cool, and now, just to show you guys how this works, let's just print in. So cout in, and then add a space, because spaces are fun, and readability and stuff. So let's run this code. And there we go, 500 zeros. What a beautiful sight. So we can, so there is a downside to using this kind of thing though. We can't really change it very easily. So if we were to go, so let's keep this array right here. So this is our print array. This isn't assigning values. This was wrong. I don't know why I wrote this. Past me was silly. Print array. This is what this is called. Print array. Cool. Everyone loves printing arrays. So this is assign values to array. Assign values. So let's just copy and paste this right here. There we go. And let's try changing the values. So let's say in, which is the element, which is an element of floats, the array. Let's say in plus equals 1. Or let's just put in plus plus. So add 1 to element in. So the syntax is correct. Let's see if that works though. It's still zeros. What the heck? All of this should be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It shouldn't be this. What's going on here? So basically, you can't modify things directly in arrays using this. You have to put a reference to the array instead, which means you have to give the address of the item instead of the item itself. That sounds confusing, but the way you do it is actually pretty simple. Whoop. Sorry, I was looking at something. So you basically put float, and then you put, I'm going to call it inref, so a reference to in, but that means in isn't defined here, so we're just going to put inref. There we go. Oh. Uh-oh. Expected an expression. In plus equals 1. Does that make you happy? It did. I couldn't tell you why that happened. Programming is weird. It doesn't make sense. Somebody probably understands it, but hey, most people don't. So let's see what this does. And voila, it works. Magic. So, we can actually do some more cool stuff with this. We can actually, I believe we can reference previous elements in the array. So if we go like this, and ref, oh, what? Something's wrong. No. What have I done? What have I done? Is that right? No. Huh. That didn't do what I thought it would. Well, that's how you can modify values within arrays. Using the special for loop. Ooh. The only downside is you can't do as easily the thing where you can assign incrementing values. But honestly, that isn't super useful most of the time anyway, so it's not too big of a downside. Yeah, that's all I'm going to talk about arrays in this video. In the next one, I'm going to tell you guys about vectors, which are like arrays, except they can expand as you need them to, which is pretty useful. Arrays, you can actually never have, you can never change this number right here. It's permanent. This array will always have 500 items, no more, no less, for the entirety of the program. Vectors, you can actually modify that number at runtime, which is really cool. So I'll show you guys how to do that in the next video on arrays, except they're not going to be about arrays. Yay.